If you've never been fishing before, you might struggle to understand why we go out on cold days like this and sleep in a tent overnight. Half of it is definitely being outside, being out in nature, and to pit your wits against a wild animal is a real privilege. Most people, you're driving past on the way to work in their cars and they have no idea what is going on just around the corner. The problem solving part of it is very, very important. That's what hooked me. That sort of challenge of working something out, unlocking the code as we call it, getting all the pieces of the puzzle together. They're the things that keep me going, keep me getting up early, make all those sort of sleepless nights and blank nights of catching nothing worth it. Ever since I was a little kid, I was fascinated with water. Even just walking around the woods, my mum used to say I could smell water, and I'd always find a little pond or something to have a look in. And that progressed on to catching newts and frogs and all that sort of thing. I used to spend days and days by little ponds all around where I lived, and that just progressed onto fishing. And in my teens, I was absolutely obsessed with it. And girls were not obsessed with me, it's fair to say, so I spent all my summer holidays on my bike cycling to lakes and just pouring every ounce of my energy into fishing. So I have to say I am as keen today, 40 years later, as I was back then. When I started driving, I was working for NatWest Bank as a manager's assistant, and I used to fish 4 nights a week. So I'd fish all night, try and get some sleep, rush home, have a shower, get my work stuff on and go into the bank, normally get there late and try and get away as early as possible. And then when I decided to leave the bank and start a fishing company myself, I thought that I would get loads more time to go fishing, but actually it was the opposite, and I hardly fished at all for the first few years. But I basically started in my kitchen with a stainless steel dog bowl, melting down lead that I'd bought from a local scrap merchant, and 30 years later we've probably got 1,500 products in our product range. So it has become a really big business. I've decided in later life to do some stuff that goes back into fishing. So I started a company called Embryo, and Embryo's there basically to create more lakes like this one, and also to help fence lakes for people that couldn't afford to do it. There's a big threat from the European otter, so we have to erect fences all around the lakes to stop them getting in, to keep them in the rivers in their natural habitat, and then the lakes have to be restocked. And this is a really big part of my life now. It's a huge sense of satisfaction to create a fishery like this and have other people turning up and catching their personal best fish here. It is a joy to behold, to see other people enjoying it to that level. Without doubt, my greatest challenge so far in life is being diagnosed with skin cancer, with melanoma. I've had it 3 times now. I've had loads of chunks cut out of me, all over my upper right arm and under my armpit. The mental side of that, the anguish, the anxiety, the waiting for results, is without doubt the worst part of it. The surgery and all that sort of thing is easy. I used to be petrified of needles. I really don't care now. I actually quite like the feeling of the needle going in, which is a bit weird. But that's really one extreme to the other, because I've just had so many tests and what have you. And to try and stay positive, to try and run a big business, to try and be a father, that really has pushed me to the limit. And I don't mind admitting there are times when I have struggled to get out of bed in the mornings. I suffered for a long time with, I would say, a lack of peace of mind. Having something like fishing, as a way to get away from it, and something else to focus on, that's the most important part of it, has been absolutely key. And it does give you more time to think. That can be a bad thing at times, but on the whole, if you go into something like fishing and put your life and soul into it, you tend to forget about your troubles, and that is definitely healthy for the mind.